What's up, YouTube, and welcome to my channel, Ask Jimmy Smith. Today's video, we are going to be talking about something that may surprise you, which is unclaimed property. And I just really found out about this last week, and I wanted to make a video for you about all the ins and outs of unclaimed property and how you can get money back, hundreds of dollars potentially, depending on your situation. In some cases, it might be $0, but it takes less than 2 or 3 minutes to really check. So that's why I wanted to make this video. But did you know that there are actually billions of dollars worth of unclaimed property in the United States alone? Assets such as bank accounts, stocks, bonds, and even safe deposit box contents can go unclaimed for years, and the rightful owners might not even know that they exist, which is why in this video, I'm going to cover everything that you need to know about unclaimed property, from what it is, how to claim it, to how to avoid scams. I did this actually for one of my friends, and they have over $100 of money that the state is holding on to them, and it took less than 5 minutes to find. I also did this with my parents, with other friends and family, and there's hundreds and hundreds of dollars that these people are owed at the state. So let's go ahead and dive in on how to do this. But before we do, I am actually going to start doing contests on my videos. And so in this particular video, we're going to select one lucky winner. So if you want to be entered in to win a copy of my Amazon best-selling book, Side Hustle to Full-Time Income, plus the free course and the free audiobook that comes with it, all you have to do is drop a comment below on today's video and make sure that you hit the notification bell, because you want to tune into the next video to see if you won, since I'll put the winner of this contest into that video. I'm going to start doing this on most of my videos, so leave a comment below, tune into the next one that comes out in a few days, and you can be sure to check and see if you won. Now let's get into it. Now, unclaimed property can be defined as any asset that has been left unclaimed by its rightful owner for a certain period of time. This could be because the owner moved without providing a forwarding address, forgot about the asset in general, or just simply didn't even know if it existed. And some examples of unclaimed property include bank accounts, uncashed checks, that's a big one for people, stocks, bonds, safe deposit box contents, etc. Now, you may be wondering, how does property become unclaimed in the first place? And it really varies depending on the type of property and the state that it's located in. So for example, a bank account might become unclaimed if the owner hasn't made a deposit or withdrawal in a certain period of time. Safe deposit boxes might become unclaimed if the owner hasn't paid the rental fee or hasn't accessed the box in a certain period of time. So how can you find out if you have any unclaimed property? Let's go ahead and get into my screen share where I can show you exactly how to do it very quickly and very easily. All right, now as you can see, I pulled up Google. It's a very simple process, going to Google and typing in these words, unclaimed property. Here, let me zoom in. Unclaimed property, and then the name of your state. So I didn't use my state, I used a random one, so this would be as random of an example as possible, but unclaimed property Pennsylvania is the state that I chose. But if you live in Missouri, it'd be unclaimed property Missouri. If you live in Florida, unclaimed property Florida, etc. Fairly simple to do. Now after that, you want to make sure whenever you're doing this, because there are scams out there, you want to make sure that you're only ever using a website that ends in .gov, because you want it to be a government website, and specifically the state website that whatever state that you're looking for. This doesn't have to be the state that you're located in currently either. It can be a state that you used to live in that you might have unclaimed property in. For instance, if I live in Florida, it might be Missouri that I used to live in, or if I live in Missouri, it might be North Carolina or something, right? So you want to make sure to look at all the states that you've lived in previously as well. But essentially, whenever you go to here, or each state's website, they're going to be a little bit different. So for this one, patreasury.gov, it's usually a treasury website. And again, you want to make sure it ends in .gov, because there are tons of scams out here that you don't want to get involved in. But if I click on unclaimed property Pennsylvania Treasury there, it will pull up the website. So whenever this website opens, you can see that there's tons of different options. You can search now, which is where I would typically recommend going, to see if there's any unclaimed property in your name. And again, each state will be different. So I've done this in multiple states for friends and family, and it's fairly simple, but also different. So let's go through this one together. I haven't done this before, but let's just use a generic last name of Smith. and then first name, I'm going to use James, right? Now, if you want, you can make it more specific, like zip codes, addresses, cities, property numbers. It really depends on the state and what their form looks like. But I'm going to put in just the basic James Smith so we can see if any results pull up here. Probably should have tested this out to make sure it works in Pennsylvania the way I wanted it to for this. You can see that there's tons of different ones. It'll say under $100, it'll say over $100, and you can, if you find out what it is from, or if there's an address associated with it, that's what you'll need to look to see if there's something for you. Now, James Smith is a very common name, so there's 25 pages, but if you have a less common name, it's a lot easier to find it. Or if you just want to put in the city in that state that you lived in, that can also be helpful. One of my friends actually had the complete wrong address. It was just mistyped. And so it was kind of an interesting thing to see that was the issue, is why it went unclaimed, is because the address was mistyped. They had the right house number, but they didn't have the right street. And that street doesn't exist in that city. So it was just a misspelling of the street. You can see how simple this is. Once you find something, you would click add to cart, or not cart, but add it so that you can check out this information, and then you go through their process, and each state will be different for what they need, and I can go through a little bit more of that in a minute. But ultimately, you'll need to provide all the information so that they know it's yours and it is legally your property to get back from the state. So I highly recommend doing this. Again, you want to check Google, type in unclaimed property, your state, Pennsylvania, Florida, Missouri, whatever, and then you can follow their steps to add the properties to your cart or whatever it might be. They actually say that here. It sounds weird to me because it sounds like I'm buying that. But again, you have to provide proof of that being you. So it's not like you can actually buy this or do this for random people. You need to actually have the proof as well. I recommend checking it out for your friends and family. I mean, there's been probably at least $300 to $500 of property in my friends and family group that have been unclaimed. And so it's very easy for that information to go missing and for you to forget that there might be something or just have never known it. Now, once you've found unclaimed property, the next step is to claim it. As I mentioned, the process for claiming unclaimed property can vary depending on the state and the type of property. So generally, you'll need to prove your identity and your right to claim the asset. It might include providing documents such as a government-issued ID, proof of address, and proof of ownership or entitlement to that specific property. Now, let's talk about scams. Unfortunately, there are many scammers out there who try to take advantage of people who are looking for unclaimed property. Some might claim that they can help you find and claim your property for a fee, or they might try to get you to provide personal information or pay a fee up front before they will help you claim your property. It's important to remember that you should never have to pay to claim your unclaimed property. Legitimate unclaimed property services will not charge you a fee to claim your property. Additionally, you should be wary of anyone who contacts you out of the blue claiming that they can help you claim your property. I will never do this. So if you've ever got an email from me somehow saying, hey, I can help you do this, that's not me, just FYI, and I wouldn't trust anybody that does email you in that manner. But always do your research. Make sure that you're working with a legitimate and trustworthy company. Also, always make sure to use your state's website. Again, it should end in .gov. I don't believe that you need anyone to help you. I haven't looked into it that deeply, but I think that most people can go through and look up their own state's .gov website and claim their property in the rightful way. But what happens to unclaimed property if it's not claimed? Let's just say you forgot about it, you missed it, whatever it might be. Well, the state holds on to that until the rightful owner comes forward. So in some cases, unclaimed property might actually be auctioned off or liquidated to generate revenue for the state's general fund. So this is something that can happen. You can have that property auctioned off if it's been a certain period of time or whatever it might be for your state, and they will use it for the general or to generate revenue for their state's general fund. However, most states have laws in place that require them to hold on to unclaimed property indefinitely until it is claimed by the rightful owner. So it really depends on the state that you're in. Most of the people that I've talked to and helped friends and family look into this stuff, there were things from 20 years ago that the state was holding on for them. And so most states will have those laws in place. I'm not sure of which ones do. Now, let's look at some examples of unclaimed property. Actually, in 2020, the state of California reported that they were holding over $10 billion in unclaimed property. Now, that is a staggering amount of money that could belong to someone, but has yet to be claimed. Most people don't know this exists. I didn't know until about a week ago, which is why I wanted to make it available to you. Other examples of unclaimed property can include uncashed paychecks, utility deposits, life insurance policies, and even abandoned real estate. There can be tens of thousands of dollars for some people waiting in the state that they used to live in or that they currently live in that they didn't realize was available to them. So it's important to note that the laws surrounding unclaimed property can vary depending on your state. Some states require businesses to report unclaimed property after a certain period of time as well, while others do not. And additionally, other states might have a shorter or longer period of time before the unclaimed property is considered abandoned and turned over to the state. If you're curious about the laws surrounding unclaimed property in your state, a good place to start again is by checking your state's unclaimed property website. This should provide you with information on how long property needs to be unclaimed before it's turned over to the state and what the process is for claiming unclaimed property. Now, it's also worth noting that unclaimed property isn't just limited to individuals. Businesses can also have unclaimed property. For instance, there was a state that I was looking at for a friend, and there's also a section for businesses to search their business name or by federal ID number, etc., to look for their unclaimed property. So a business might have uncashed vendor checks or unclaimed accounts payable that is just waiting for them at the state. So make sure to not only check for your personal name, your friends and family's personal names, but also for your business and the accounts payable and uncashed checks that could be available to you depending on your business. So if you own or operate a business, it's also a good idea to check for that unclaimed property that might be associated with your business. In some cases, finding and claiming unclaimed property can be a time-consuming and complex process, which I do believe is why there's so many scam options out there for people. However, it is important to remember that this property is rightfully yours and it's worth taking the time to claim it. Not only can claiming the unclaimed property provide you with a financial windfall, depending on how much there is, but it can also provide you with a sense of closure and peace of mind, knowing that your assets are accounted for. Plus, it's rightfully yours. You should go out there, take the time to do it. Even if it's $4 or $5, it is your money. Why have your state hold on to it? But again, make sure to check all the states that you've lived in, know the addresses that you lived at, and hopefully be able to provide the proof that it is yours. So to sum this all up, unclaimed property can include a wide range of assets that have been left unclaimed by their rightful owner. To claim your unclaimed property, start by searching your state's website by Googling unclaimed property and state, and then be prepared to provide documentation to provide your identity and ownership. Always be on the lookout for scams, and remember that legitimate unclaimed property services will not charge you a fee to claim your property. But also remember, you don't need these services if you go to your .gov website and file all of the information that they need. The only time you would need a legitimate service is if you don't have that documentation or you need somebody to help get that documentation. But again, these can be scammy. I don't recommend them, so I would try to do it all on your own .gov website based off the instructions I showed you. So take action today and start your search for any unclaimed property that may be rightfully yours. Also, don't forget, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, if you want to win a free copy of my book, Side Hustle to Full-Time Income, drop a comment down below and tune into the next video to see if you are the lucky winner. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you find anything in your name or a friend or relative's name as you go through this process, and any questions you have, those can all be considered for the contest from comments. So if you found some, if you've got questions, what your thoughts are, etc. If you're looking for a place to put that money into, I recommend joining a free Facebook group that will teach you all about selling online. It's called the My Silent Team Facebook group. You can go to bit.ly/MST group. That link is down below in the description. And lastly, if you're looking to build a business with a community of other like-minded individuals, check out the Business Building Legends group. I've been in it for years. It transformed my business and really my life by going through that group. You can get their $1 30-day trial at bit.ly/legends trial. Again, that link is below and in the description. So I hope this video helped you and blessed you, and I hope that you have a great rest of your day and a blessed rest of your week.